The pen felt heavier than it should have. The marble table and cold lights made the judge's patience grow thin. "Proceed," he said. I signed. Across the room, my late husband's children, grown and polished, couldn't hide their smiles. Their lawyer leaned back, already counting the estate, the business, everything. They thought grief had hollowed me out. They thought surrender meant defeat. Then their lawyer stood to read the final addendum and turned pale. I watched the color drain from his face and felt calm, surgical, complete. When my husband Don Javier Castillo died, the house became a museum of other people's expectations. Flowers I didn't choose, sympathy I didn't ask for, and his children, his blood not mine, arrived like auditors. They didn't wait a week. "We want the estate," the eldest Alejandro Castillo said, his voice smooth. "The business too. Dad would have wanted it that way." My lawyer begged me to fight. He spread options across my desk like weapons. Trust challenges, fiduciary breaches, years of litigation that would grind everyone down. I closed the folder. "Give it all to them," I said. He stared at me as if grief had cracked my skull. Everyone did. They didn't know I'd already finished the war. I met my husband when he was rebuilding himself. Widowed once, burned by partners. He liked that I asked fewer questions than most. He liked that I listened. I learned the language of Grupo Castillo the way some people learn prayer. Quietly, faithfully, every day. He trusted me because I never reached. I never pushed. I never took credit. And when the children visited, I played the part they needed. Warm, peripheral, temporary. They mistook silence for ignorance. The betrayal didn't announce itself. It whispered. A meeting moved without telling me. A signature scanned, not signed. A vendor who suddenly answered to someone else. Then a late-night email my husband never saw, sent months before he died, threaded with plans that assumed his absence like a forecast. I didn't cry when I read it. I catalogued it. Grief can make you loud, or it can make you precise. I chose precise. I stopped confronting. I started counting. I traced the business the way a surgeon traces veins. Shell companies where loyalty went to die. Loans signed on faith. Clauses no one reads because everyone trusts the patriarch to live forever. I found the lever. My husband had prepared for storms. He just hadn't expected him to come from inside the house. Buried in the bylaws was a contingency, one he drafted after his first betrayal. A successor protocol that didn't reward blood. It rewarded continuity, competence, proof. I didn't need to fight them for the estate. I needed to let them have it. So I gave them everything they asked for. The house, the land, the name on the door. And I kept what they didn't understand. I activated the protocol quietly. No press, no theatrics. I appointed an interim board, people who owed me nothing except the truth. I reassigned operational control to a holding entity with a clean spine and a longer memory. I exercised an option my husband had written for the spouse who survives the noise. They never read past the headline. Back in the courtroom, their lawyer's voice wavered as he reached the last page. Subject to the continuity clause. He read, swallowing. Operational authority transfers upon execution to. He stopped. The room leaned forward. To the acting successor, he finished, effective immediately. He looked up at me. The judge followed his gaze. And who is the acting successor? I stood. Not to gloat. To conclude. I am, I said. The children protested. Words collided. Objections piled up and fell apart. Their lawyer flipped pages like a drowning man slapping water. It was all there. Dates, signatures, witnesses. My husband's handwriting steady as a promise. The judge nodded at once. Gavel down. Final. They learned in real time the difference between ownership and control. They owned the shell. I held the engine. By the time they left the courthouse, the banks had frozen their access pending review. Vendors had new instructions. Employees had already met me, not as the widow, but as the successor who knew the names. The eldest Alejandro called me that night, his voice finally honest. You planned this? Yes, I said, while you were counting. I didn't ruin them. I let them reveal themselves. The business stabilized. The noise faded. The house sold. The name on the door changed. I kept my husband's office light on for one night, then turned it off and went home. People ask if I regret not fighting louder, if I wish I'd taken more. I took exactly what mattered. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't beg a judge. I didn't chase blood with blood. I signed the papers. I let them smile. And when their lawyer went pale, I felt something like mercy for myself. Because the cleanest revenge isn't punishment. It's replacement. I didn't fight for the past. I took my place in the future. Thank you for listening to today's story. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to support the channel. See you in the next story.